إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلام عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما مزيدا. قال الله عز وجل بعد أن أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Dear brothers and sisters, respected elders, today, as you know, is a sacred day for Muslims. It's the day of Jumma, it's the day of Friday. But it is also a sacred day for another religion. It's a sacred day for one of the newly invented religions, the most aggressively spread religions in the world today. We might have seen the signs, we might have seen the advertisements, but today is Black Friday. And why do I say that it is a sacred day for a new religion? This new religion has its sacred days, its holidays, these sales. This new religion, it has its places of worship, towering cathedrals that people come to on a regular basis, including ourselves. This new religion has its ideology, has its aqeedah, has its beliefs about supernatural powers such as the wisdom of the markets or the so-called invisible hand, if anybody's interested in economics. This new religion has its wars. It has wars, it has jihad, it has a holy war that it fights, that it uses to dominate larger and larger parts of the earth, as some of its people who have left the religion have highlighted and exposed. People like John Perkins' Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This new religion, it's new and at the same time it's very old. This new religion, it's described by many people using many different names, highlighting different aspects of it. Some people call it materialism. Some people call it consumerism. Some people call it neoliberalism or unfettered capitalism. But one of the most successful things about this religion, this new religion that is dominating us, dominating our societies, dominating our planet, and polluting it and destroying it in the process. One of the most successful things about it is it's invisible. One of the most successful things about it is nobody knows its name. It's one of the most successful tricks of shaitan, that our children all over the world, whether they're in a desert, whether they're in a place covered in snow, whether they're in a tropical climate, whether they're in the UK, whether they're in Pakistan, Asia, Africa, anywhere, our children are being slowly indoctrinated by some of its principles, some of its values, some of its aqeedah, its beliefs. This new religion sees the fundamental relationship between human beings as one of competition for scarce resources. It sets children up from a young age to see their fellow human being as a competitor for a scarce resource. And we have absorbed this as well. We have turned, some of us, we have turned our children into competitors to one another. Why can't you be more like your brother? He did this, he did that. Why can't you do that as well? Or why can't you be like so-and-so's son or daughter? This is poisonous, brothers and sisters. This new religion, it's making us turn from a needs-based society to a wants-based society. It's making us buy things we don't need with money we don't have. It's making us buy things we don't need with money we don't have. Buy now, pay later. This good interest rate and this good deal, I'll give you a good deal. This, just pay it on your credit card and worry about it tomorrow. Many of us now, we feel, we as a result of this new religion, we fundamentally look at our role in society on earth fundamentally different to our parents. Just recall back maybe 50 years ago if you've been around, or your parents, how would they discuss things? Just 20 years ago I remember talking to my own father. Abu, I want this. What would he say? What would you, the elders among us, what would you say to your children when they ask for something? Do you need this? This is what they would ask. Do you need this? If you need it, I'll buy you it. But the word need has kind of exited our vocabulary now. I don't need it, but I want it. I want it. That should be enough of a reason, no? This is one of the ways, many ways it's changed how we behave. It's changed how we act, and it's forced us into this cycle of buy the latest phone, buy the latest car. You saved up, you've worked so hard to get this, maybe a house. Now you've got the house, now you want something else. Something just, something over the horizon now. The horizon is something you never reach. The further you go towards it, the same distance it is away from you. This is how we've become with respect to objects, many of us, including myself. I'm not giving you a lecture here. I was just thinking on the way here. I was saying last year I talked about Black Friday, you might remember. And last year, because of this khutbah, I didn't buy a new phone. I thought I would be a hypocrite if I bought a new phone. I just giving people a lecture about new things. So I had an old phone and I just upgraded it a few weeks ago, and wallahi, I was just thinking, I miss that old phone now. I don't know why. It's old, it's slow, whatever. But the new thing, I would think, the new one is faster, the new one is, shiny, and it has these new features. If I just buy it, then I'll be happy. When you buy it, you're happy for a few moments. We get that dopamine kick, we get an endorphin rush in our bodies. But when that fizzles away, when that dissipates, we want the next thing now. I wonder what the new thing is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us about this. Alhaakumut takathur. This rivalry in trying to get the next, trying to get more, trying to get more, trying to get more. It has distracted you. Alhaakumut takathur. Hatta zurtumul maqabir. Until you visit the graveyards. Kalla sawfa ta'lamun. No, then you're going to know. Then we will know. When was the last time we went to a graveyard and looked and pondered? When was the last time we followed a janazah and we put somebody in the ground? When you're going to a janazah, you're not putting someone else in their final resting place. You're reminding yourself, the person who passed away, he's reminding you, be careful, one day you're coming in here as well. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does to remind us, to wake us up out of this rat race. How many times am I going to get a new phone? How many nice cars am I going to drive? How many? One day we're all going to this grave. It's Black Friday, but it's also Jumma. And on Jumma, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, we're reading Surah Al-Kahf every Friday. It's sunnah, it's recommended. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Kahf? He reminds us of this fact many, many times. Many times. إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا لِنَبْلُوهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. This glitter and glamour, this nice stuff that we've made on this earth, that's an adornment for it. It's just the decoration. So we can test them. Which of them is better when it comes to their deeds? Our deeds, which of us is better in our deeds? Al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayati dunya. What are the things that so many of us want? Wealth and children. Wealth and people, family around us. This is the zina, the decoration of the hayatul dunya, of the lowly life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not put us here to just be scruffy, have no nice things and act like poor people. No. All of us know buying nice things is halal. Buying even expensive things can be halal. I'm not saying it's haram. But where is it in here, in our hearts? When you put the key down in front of you in salah, and you're hoping that the Mercedes sign comes up, there's some inkling inside you, maybe the Mercedes sign will land up, and then people will see, and I have a nice car. Internally we might have this. Then it becomes a problem. I want to belittle someone else, I want to feel better than someone else. Another story in Surah Al-Kahf for us to read today regularly. The fitna of wealth, the trial of having wealth. Where does this sit in my heart? Am I thinking about this while I'm in salah? Am I thinking about getting the next latest model of this car or that mobile phone or that pair of trainers or that handbag for the sisters? Am I thinking about that during my salah? Then it's a problem. But do you know there's one cure? There is one cure to all of this, the problems of this new religion. This new religion and its ideology, this new religion and its false aqidah, this new religion and the way it turns human beings into competitors, atomizing us, making us lonely, making us the plethora of mental health disorders. There's one special cure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. And in the next khutbah I want us to reflect on this. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We discussed it, brothers and sisters, respected elders, that this new religion of hyper-consumption, consumerism, neoliberalism, of turning human beings against each other over scarce resources, of dominating the world's resources and its people. It has many, many bad influences. We discussed how it's turning us into competitors against each other. Even how it's changing the way we assign value to something. Yeah, something is valuable if it makes me a profit. Not if it fulfills my objectives, my vision in life. Not if it fulfills my values. But only if it makes someone profit. A sister who is looking after her children, she's seen, because of this new religion, she's seen as someone not fulfilling her potential. It's good she's doing it, but she could be having a career and all that kind of stuff. But if she was looking after someone else's children for a profit, now she's making use of her potential. She's economically active. A man who's looking after his elderly parents, he's maybe paused his career for a while because he's serving the people that raised him when he was a baby. He's stopping his work, maybe doing some menial labor just to survive, but his main attention is serving his elderly parents. Society may look at that and say, poor guy, he's in a pickle, he's not utilizing his potential anymore. But if that same person was getting a job, working in an old people's home, looking after someone else's parents, he's economically active, he's fulfilling his potential. This is how this new religion has brainwashed many of us. We assign value to something that we never used to before. And we change how we assign value to things. Service of people, sacrifice, worshipping Allah, looking after Allah's creatures. This has taken second fiddle now, and the main priority is what? Is it making someone profit? Is it serving the consumption and production cycle? ourselves. Look at yourself. Just think about the last time you bought something and how you felt, or when you saw something online, an advertisement. We see again and again and again increases in mental health disorders, and women in particular are affected. 1 in 4 women experience, survey came out last year, 1 in 4 women in UK experience mental health disorders. The UK is one of the loneliest capitals of the world, of Europe, of the developed world. UK is the loneliness capital. People are feeling lonely. They might be mixed together physically, but they feel lonely. Why? Partly because of this ideology that looks at us as competitors, not a community. And what happens? Women in particular, they are more likely to go to social media when they're feeling anxious, depressed, and have mental health issues. And social media is run by advertising revenues to show them stuff that keeps them glued, that, oh, look at this person and this fancy lifestyle and that house and that handbag and this and that. So we have a compare and despair mentality. All of these things that I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us one special cure for all of them. It's very simple to say, but it's very comprehensive in how it impacts our lives, dear brothers and sisters. And that one word is shukr. Shukr. Shukr is gratitude. Being grateful for what we have. This might seem overly simplistic, but let me explain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you show thanks, I will increase you. I will give you more things to show thanks about. Not only that, cast your minds back to when you saw someone, maybe on TV, maybe in real life, a rich person, maybe a footballer or a celebrity or an actor or whatever, politician. They have all the dunya's luxuries. They're eating in the Michelin star restaurant. They're staying in 5, 6, 7 star hotels on holiday. Are they happy inside? The answer is no, not necessarily. But look at people you've seen in your life, maybe back home where your parents came from, or where you were born. People have very, very simple, materially simple lifestyles, but they're happy. Many of them, you might see someone, he's just eating a very simple meal. He's having dal roti. He's having some bread. But he's got a massive smile on his face. Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah, one of the Salaf, he used to say, if the princes and sultans and the amirs, the politicians, if they knew of the contentment and the happiness we have in our hearts, they'd fight us for it with swords. This is why the early Muslims would say, some say it's hadith, but it might be, it might not be, but it's definitely a statement the early Muslims would say. Al-qana'atu kanzun la yafna. Contentment is a treasure that never finishes, never depletes. I'll be honest with you. I like driving nice cars, but I never drove a car more that I enjoyed more than the car that cost me £450 almost 20 years ago. Why? Materially it doesn't make sense. I drive nice cars, alhamdulillah. Some of them mine, some of them maybe someone else's car or rental on holiday or whatever. You get a nice car, you have fun, right? But the most enjoyable drive I ever had was a very, very cheap 1990 something, maybe 1980s model 7-seater old banger. Why? Something in there. Maybe there was a secret. Maybe I was grateful about that. And Allah gave me more enjoyment with that materially inferior car. And maybe, may Allah forgive me and all of us, maybe I was not grateful when driving the Mercedes or the BMW or whatever. that it didn't really give me that same level of enjoyment. And this is one of the interpretations of the ayah some scholars give. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you're grateful, I will increase you. They said part of this means, if you're grateful with something small, then Allah will make you enjoy it even more. But if you're ungrateful, even if you have the most expensive luxury meal or product or item, you won't enjoy it in your heart. You will be worried about it. When you have the £100,000 car waiting in the car park, you're worried about it. Maybe someone might scratch it, maybe this might happen, maybe that might happen. When you're driving it, you might be pointing out to yourself the nooks. You might be pointing out to yourself the bad parts of it. This seat isn't that comfortable. This seat belt, it makes a funny noise when I click it in. But if you're grateful and you have a £450 car, this is the best drive you ever had. This is our tool, this is our weapon against Black Friday. I'm not saying don't buy anything. You might, if you need something, definitely buy it. Even if you want something. But don't let it enter your heart and make you change how you approach this whole life. How we assign value to things. How we chase, what we chase in our lives, what we keep in our hearts. And all of us, if I mention one example, all of us will, inshallah, be on the same page. You'll know what I'm talking about. When it comes to shukr and enjoyment. Because everyone wants enjoyment at the end of the day. Everyone wants to be happy. Cast your minds back to the last time you were fasting. Maybe it's in Ramadan. You've been hungry, thirsty all day. Don't tell me that first sip of water you had is not the most delicious drink you had in a while. Don't tell me that date or that simple piece of bread you had, or the samosa you had, is not the most delicious samosa you can ever remember at that time. It's not just a metaphysical thing. Literally, the chemicals in your brain that are related to enjoyment, even those, materially it's heightened. Why? Because we appreciate it more. That is our weapon. When we start to appreciate what we have more, looking at our existing 8-year-old phones and thinking, wow, this is actually pretty good. Thinking back 20 years ago, I didn't have anything. If you compare your phone, your old last year's iPhone, to a Nokia 3210, you're going to enjoy it. We are going to enjoy it. But if we're comparing it to something that, the horizon that we are being told to keep chasing, we will always be discontented. And I'll end with this one piece of advice from the Prophet ﷺ. When it comes to our iman and our relationship with Allah, compare yourself to someone better than you. Compare yourself to the prophets. Compare yourself to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Compare yourself to Maryam alayhi salam. So you can aspire to be at that level. But when it comes to the dunya, when it comes to material wealth, compare yourself to someone worse off than you. Because we won't care, we won't complain, we won't be ungrateful at our last year's iPhone when we're looking at people dying of hunger. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our shortcomings, to free us from the tentacles of this new ideology, to free us from the malaise of Black Friday, and to help us get out of it and our families. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وأقيموا الصلاة.